Let him laugh, let him weep, let him yell, let him sing. All they wanna say. Let him lay me traps and men to pray to Jehovah, me I pray. Let him laugh, let him weep, let him yell, let him sing. All they wanna say. Let him lay me traps and men to pray to Jehovah, me I pray. Let I be me instead of playing games. For chasing fame, let somebody sweat the lack of flames. No, living my life to the fullest and shout out my halala to the fullest. Let my lungs out. I'm still rising up to greater heights as long as
Hello, bonjour, Sanbonani. Welcome to Rise to Greater Heights Network, where you can turn your fears into greater success while seizing new opportunities. It is so significant to have a positive mindset, more especially under these circumstances. So this network has the potential to completely revolutionize every aspect of your life and career. My name is Riel Gunene, and I'm going to be your host for today. So if you're watching us online, please feel free to put in the chat box where you're watching us from and what we hope to achieve from our podcast. Today, we are surrounded by greatness in the World Wide Web. We have amazing speakers who's going to share some nuggets on what's holding you back. What's really holding you back from going confident in the direction of your dreams? Is it fear, mediocrity, procrastination, or distraction? What's holding you back? So in Colorado, we are surrounded by Colorado people today. We have Julianne Cooley. And again, in Colorado, I believe I should pack my bags and head to Colorado. We also have Frank Sinclair, as well as Patrick Linfant. So at this moment, I'll just let our speakers to introduce themselves. So you can go ahead, Julie.
Thank you, Riel. My name is Julie Cooley, and it's a pleasure to be here today. Mindset is so important. So this podcast is fantastic, and I'm sure you'll get a lot of little nuggets to take away today. One thing that Riel had asked us to share was something that isn't in our bio. So for me, it was I had studied to be an opera singer in college, and you'll hear a little bit more about that in my presentation. Back to you, Riel.
Oh, wow. So you can see that we are really surrounded by greatness. You can go ahead, Frank, and introduce yourself.
Hi, everyone. My name is Frank Sinclair, and I'm the Chief Encouragement Officer for Dream Again Business Consulting in Colorado Springs, Colorado, one of the greatest business environments in the world. And I am so glad to be coming from here. One thing about me, not in my bio, is that I'm the second of 15 children raised in segregation in the South back in the 60s. So that's a nugget from me.
Oh my goodness. Wow, from a big family. Oh, you can go ahead, Patrick, and introduce yourself as well.
Thank you, Rael. I'm also joining everyone from Colorado. I'm living up at 9,000 feet here. If you've heard of Breckenridge in Vail, Colorado, that's where I am joining you all from. Something that's not quite presently known about me. I share musical abilities here with Julie. I've been playing bass for about 20 plus years now. So it's a little fun fact maybe we'll learn a little more about. Thank you, Rael.
Oh my goodness. So you can really tell that we are surrounded by greatness. Honestly, Julie, Frank, Patrick, this is the greatness I've been talking about. So our audience online, please like and share this video and go on YouTube, because this is a once in a lifetime offer that we are streaming on Facebook. So go on YouTube and subscribe to Rise to Greater Heights Network. Like and share the video, as well as don't forget to click on the subscribe button, and so that you get notifications each and every time when you go live on Facebook. So Julie, I have a question for you. If you happen to have your own billboard, so I believe all the billboards will be coming down there in the busy highway of Colorado. What will your billboard say, Julie?
You are more powerful than you have been led to believe and that you can imagine. Put your magic out into the world, because we need it now more than ever.
Oh, wow. Wow. I love it. I love it. How about you, Frank? What will your billboard say?
My billboard would simply say, let's raise humans together.
Let's raise humans together. I love it. I love it. How about you, Patrick? Maybe your billboard is already out there. What will your billboard say?
My billboard would simply say, let's go. And it's an invitation that we are all going together. Let us actually move forward together and let's help each other out.
Wow. Wow. I love all the billboard. Let's go. I believe mine will be the fourth billboard driving down the highway, and it's going to say rise to greater heights. Rise to greater heights, because you know what? The sky is no longer the limit. It's our point of view. So we should all rise to greater heights. And you know what? It's coming. It's coming. So we're going to get started. We're going to get started with Julie. Julie Cooley is a Toastmasters of over 9 years. She was a workshop leader for the Buddhist Faith Fellowship for 9 years, giving presentations on such topics as Zen and the art of falling in love, If the Buddha Dated, and the Tantra of Sound. She has given presentations for travelers insurance, including how to give a successful pitch and mindfulness in daily life. Today, she is going to share her experience with how to overcome taking things personally, which can be a common issue that holds you back. In order to succeed in your dreams, you can't let others' opinions affect you and dissuade you. When we make a difference in the world, we may experience unwelcome feedback. Not taking things personally can help us reframe our experiences and keep us on the road to our passion as well as our purpose. So, kings and queens, please join me and welcome Julie Cooley.
Thank you, Riel. Do you take things personally? When someone criticizes your appearance or calls you out in a meeting, do you feel it in the pit of your stomach? When I was a child, I let my classmates' constant bullying and my family's rejection affect my self-image. When I was 8 years old, I was starting in a new school. I had moved an hour away and I had left behind many cherished friends and a school that I adored. It was recess and I had to play kickball for the first time. The ball rolled towards me. I ran up and missed it. I could hear my teammates groan. The ball rolled towards me again. I ran up and missed it again. I could hear my classmates snicker and see their eyes roll. Determinedly, when the ball rolled toward me a third time, I ran up and kicked it. Foul ball. In my elementary school, if you weren't good in sports, you were not accepted. Every day in gym class, I'd always be picked last for the teams. In fact, people would fight over me because they didn't want me. In the English class, one of my classmates had to use the word born in a sentence. She said, "I wish Julie Dean had never been born." I was horrified as all my classmates stared at me. With tears in my eyes, I ran out of my classroom. Not only did I have to deal with constant bullying, but I had to deal with my family's rejection too. I went to all of my sisters and brothers' events and cheered them on to support them. When I was 13 years old, I was going to have my first voice recital. Excitedly, I peeked out into the audience and there was my mom. But where was my brother, my sister, my father? I walked onto the stage and my lower lip quivered. I got through my song and then ran to my mom and said, "Where's Sherry and Van? They were supposed to be here." She said, "They didn't want to come." I was deflated. I couldn't believe that they didn't care enough to support me, and I felt that I wasn't worthy of their love or support. I slumped around the house for days. Their continued absence happened through many events during high school and college. The pain from the bullying and the rejection from my family stayed with me for years. College was the first time that I was away from home. I was blessed to have a very supportive voice teacher named Beverly. She taught me how to believe in myself and encouraged me to read self-development books. One of the books that I read was The 4 Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. The second agreement says, don't take things personally. Don Miguel Ruiz explains that how people react and what they think of you has nothing to do with you. It's more about their suffering, their past programming, and their experiences. I understood this intellectually, but it took me a while to embody it emotionally. One of the experiences that helped me understand this emotionally was when I reported to a very difficult manager. She was insecure and didn't believe in herself. She put herself down in front of her peers, and she projected her insecurities onto me. Even though I was known as an excellent worker, she'd insult me and belittle me every day. In a meeting, I'd come up with an idea and she'd dismiss it. My coworker would come up with the same idea and she would tell him, that's a fantastic idea. When I left the department, I found out that she started to treat my coworker the same way she had treated me. She needed a scapegoat, and it had nothing to do with me. Another experience that helped me really understand not to take things personally was my husband's advice. I would get upset if I wanted to connect with someone and we didn't become friends or friendship fizzled. And he said, Julie, what do you really have in common with them? It's not about your value as a person. It's about the shared experiences and interests that you have. Now, when a friendship doesn't work out, instead of saying, what's wrong with me, I think of what my husband said to me. When you take things personally, it can help you, it can prevent you from going for your dreams. When you realize that whatever people think has more to do with their own suffering and how they see the world, it frees you because you realize it's not about you. How people react is a reflection of them. How you respond is your responsibility. There are 2 tools that you can use to help you not to take things personally. The first one is reframing. I was taught reframing by my mentor when I was going job hunting to get away from that difficult manager. I had been trying to get out of that department for 3 years. I had applied to 3 project lead positions and unfortunately kept getting turned down for them. When I got turned down the 3rd time, I was getting really frustrated. My mentor Raj sat me down and said, Julie, rejection is for your protection. I learned later that job posting, they didn't know what they wanted in a candidate, and they kept posting that job for an entire 1.5 years. Fortunately for me, after that rejection, 3 months later, I got my dream job of being a project lead with people I really cherished, liked, and respected, and who respected me. The second tool you can use not to take things personally is mindfulness meditation. We can get triggered when events happen to us, and we can react without thinking. By practicing meditation, it can help calm us and teach us to respond differently. For instance, if I'm in a fight with my husband, it triggers memories of my angry father, and I just want to run away. I freeze and get defensive. But by practicing meditation, now I can stay more calm and I don't get as triggered. Practicing 5 minutes of meditation a day has helped me realize that my childhood bullies would have picked on somebody else if I hadn't gone to that school. My brother and sister, if they had a different sibling, they would have treated them the same exact way. This helped dissipate the pain from my past because it wasn't personal. By reframing, staying in the present moment, and knowing it's never about you can help you not to take things personally. It's a process and it takes time to incorporate in your life, but it's well worth it. When you put yourself out into the world to pursue your passion, you will attract trolls and people who will try to put you down. When you realize that it's coming from their own suffering, you won't let the opinions of a few people affect you, and you'll go out to pursue your dreams and make the difference for so many people. Back to you, Rial.
Wow, Julie just dropped the mic. Drop the mic. Oh my God, you've nailed it. You've nailed it. You've mentioned that we'll have to, in order for us to succeed in our dreams, we can't just let other people's opinions affect us. It's the way we are responsible for the response that we give back after whatsoever has been done to us. And you've mentioned, I was taking notes. So you've mentioned that not taking things personally, it can help us to reframe our experiences and keep us on the road to our passion. Wow, that was really, really profound. Thank you so much, Judy, for sharing such a much needed message, such a profound message. Thank you so much. So now we're gonna move to Frank Sinclair. Frank Sinclair is the Chief Encouragement Officer for Dream Again LLC, a coaching and a keynote speaking enterprise. His primary focus is entrepreneurs. He is widely known in the region as the #1 encouragement and empowerment coach. He is very community-minded, serving on the boards of CASA, another Life Foundation, excuse me, Front Range Power Connectors, and Pikes Peaks Pros. He further mentors men coming out of addiction and homelessness at the Springs Rescue Mission. He was awarded the Colorado Random Acts of Kindness Award in 2019 and the Most Influential Networker Award in 2020. Frank is married to Michelle. All 3 of his adult children are business executives in Denver. He is certified in diversity, leadership development, and interpersonal communications. And he is educated in business at the University of Maryland and biblical studies at Nazarene Bible College. He has 13 grandchildren. No wonder, he's from a big family. He is also the author of Dream Again, Lessons of Leveraging Your Pain, and Your Personal Life Coach. His next book, Your Personal Business Coach, is scheduled for release in May 2022. So, kings and queens, please join me and welcome Frank Sinclair.
Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate it. Julie, great message. That is one that pushes out and really resonates with every human being. So thank you very much for bringing that incredible message. I was told that I am going to be speaking on synergy so that we can increase our impact and our opportunities in the world. As Rial mentioned, I was raised in North Carolina. Our schools didn't integrate until I was in 8th grade. So I grew up in segregation. We were sharecroppers. I worked in the tobacco fields, the cotton fields. My parents only finished 6th and 8th grade respectively. So I went into the Air Force when I was 18 to escape my upbringing because it was incredibly difficult and hard. 8 years in the Air Force, I ended up sabotaging my Air Force career. In my 7th year, I became the 2nd youngest person of my rank in the entire Air Force. Year 7 to 8, the messages of sabotage that rang true in my mind took hold, and I began drinking very heavily. So I became an alcoholic during that time, sabotaged my Air Force career, which led to 6 months as a homeless guy on the streets here in Colorado Springs, rescued by someone who came through and asked me to tell my story to them. So telling my story created space for me. They ended up taking me home with them, and my life was changed because one person saw past the obvious. And isn't that really a touch point in life when we're thinking about life, when we're thinking about synergizing our lives with other lives and creating more impact? Because no one human being makes ultimate impact by themselves. We do it with others. I tell people all the time, if you want to level up your life, level up your business, 3 things you need to do. Number 1, take 100% responsibility for you in your life. There can be no outs, no giving it up to anyone else. It's your responsibility. Number 2, you have to engage others. Even the Lone Ranger had Tonto, right? Nobody does stuff alone. So we need other people engaged and accountable to keep our lives moving forward in the optimal way. And number 3, we need to take action. There's a lot of talk that happens in culture. We talk a lot, we do very little, right? And it really creates no space for anyone if you're not doing something with the things you know. I see all the books that Julie had behind her. Her and I have that in common. I have over 5,000 volumes in my personal library. I love to read because leaders read. The most powerful leaders in life read at least 25 books a year. And that's scientifically proven that that's true. So if you want to lead, you need to read. But if you're going to read, make sure that you make things that you read actionable. Find creative ways to do the things that you're learning so that they just don't become a new nugget that you learn. So how do we synergize to the optimal extent? I think, number 1, there's 2 C words that keep us from synergizing. One keeps us from synergizing, the other creates a path to synergy for human beings. So the number 1 word is cynicism. See, you never thought you would be a cynic, did you? No one grows up and says, you know what, I want to grow up and be cynical the rest of my life. That sounds great. Go Broncos. Nobody says that. That's not a space. It's not like doing your sophomore year of high school, besides your yearbook picture you wrote. I hope to grow jaded and distrustful of humanity by the time I hit 40. I'm also hoping my cynicism would damage my family and make me impossible to live with. Nobody writes that in their yearbook, but the majority of humans in the culture that we live in a culture of humanity, period, are cynics. They become cynical. So how do we become cynical? Cynicism begins not because you don't care, it's because you care too much. That's where it comes from. You know, there's something that we become passionate about, then we get knocked down, pushed back. Julie described some of the things that happened in her life. A perfect setup for cynicism, wasn't it, Julie? Just to help people push back in your life and not acknowledge you or value you or create space for you. Cynicism grows out of that. And then, so we have to do something about that. What's the number 2 reason that cynicism creeps into the life of humans? Because you know too much. You know, if that person hadn't broken your heart, then maybe you could understand what healthy relationships look like. You have experience now. The biggest cynics, I don't know about you guys, but I'm an old guy. You guys aren't so old. I'm the older statesman on the screen today. And I know when people get my age, if they are cynics, they are stuck in it. I mean, have you ever seen an old cynic? Nothing creates joy for them because they become stuck in that mindset and in that space, so they can't move on. So cynicism is because we know too much. Number 3 is because we project the past onto the future. Projection is such an incredible thing because we make our experience everyone else's, and don't feel guilty for that because that's what we know, right? We know our experience, so of course we project those on the others, but we have to be very intentional that we allow people to be in the spaces that they are and not because of something that I've gone through, and to know the difference. It's so incredibly important that we do that. Number 4, you decide to stop trusting, hoping, and believing, and you become a cynic. Those are the key points. You know, hope floats. Anyone ever see that movie, Hope Floats? It was very romantic, by the way. If you haven't seen it, you need to see it. And it's true. Hope floats and cynicism sinks. It'll sink you into despair and discouragement in places that causes you not to be able to function to your optimal capacity. You know, no one's ever walked up to me and says, you know what, Frank, I am so encouraged by my job, I'm quitting. No one has ever told me, Frank, I am so encouraged by my marriage, I'm divorcing. Or I'm so encouraged by school that I'm dropping out. No one does that. Discouragement creeps in and creates cynics. A discouraged human being. A lot of you say, well, you coach from an encouragement platform. Well, that doesn't sound that sounds pretty soft. Is that a soft skill? I just really hate that phrase. But I say, well, try doing business or life discouraged. And you have understand very quickly how important encouragement is, right? So those are the ways that, so what's the other C word that brings us from cynicism to a space of wholeness and health and engagement in society? It's the word curiosity. A curious human isn't a cynical human, because there's something to explore, there's something to learn, there's people to meet, there's things to do. There's a space in my life that really sets me up for creating joy. You know, we find now a human being, every one of us, since we're all unique, we're designed to do something specific on earth that no one else can do. And I don't care if there's 1 million people in your space, no one is you. So when only way that you can ever figure out the you on earth is by being curious and creating curious space in your heart and in your mind so that you go into situations not going, oh, this is going to be a failure, but I wonder what this is going to unfold for me today. What is this going to create for me? And what do I get to create for others? So when you're a curious human being, you will slap cynicism in the face, be able to move forward with power and authority and being whom you were created to be on earth. And that way, we synergize together and create a better life, a better earth for each and every one of us. Back to you, Rael.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Frank, just drop the mic. Just drop the mic. Oh my goodness. I've learned a lot. Like in this 7 minutes, I've learned a lot on cynicism. So thank you. You've mentioned, I was taking notes. You've mentioned that hope flows and cynicism sinks. You've mentioned that a person, how we can actually create our own synergy. You'll have to be a very curious person. Curiosity, where synergy flourishes. That's where synergy flourishes. Thank you so much, Frank, for sharing such a timely, much needed message. So thank you. Okay, now we're still in Colorado again. Today we're not going anywhere. We're gonna be in Colorado, and then Canada. Now we're going to Patrick. Patrick Linfante has experienced more valleys and mountain tops than most people. transforming from a broken man to an Ironman. He uses his experience to give listeners a vision for creating their own path to their dreams, their own vision, and to recapturing the dream of their life. His pivotal moment came after an accident where he was thrown from his car and walked to 3 broken vertebrae in his neck. From there, he began a journey to rebuild himself, his body, and his spirit. When you cross paths with Patrick, his message will inspire you to make your life the trip of a lifetime as he guides you along your own hero's journey. So kings and queens, please join me and welcome Patrick Linfante.
I believe in a world where the man in the mirror is actually the man you've already met in your dreams. I bring this vision to life by empowering individuals to summon their own strengths within the current moment, to look within themselves, to be honest with themselves, and to keep their hearts open. And that's what I'm here to ask of you today. Take these 5, 7, 8 minutes together and be here now. Don't worry about the bills that are piling up. Don't worry about the conversations of yesterday. Stay here with me and open your heart and be a little bit vulnerable. I believe there's no better way to ask you to be vulnerable if I'm vulnerable myself first. We all have choices in this world. And one of the best and worst decisions that I ever made in my life was to get behind the vehicle after drinking. The choice that everyone in the world tells you not to make when you grow up, the choice that everyone expressly tells you, don't do that. It'll never happen to me. Well, it did. May 1st, 2010, I woke up in a hospital with 3 of my vertebrae broken in my neck and a new life in front of me. Now, again, choice comes into play. I can choose to be a victim. I can choose to be a victor. I can choose to look into these events and extract the wisdom out of them, or I can turn a blind eye, pretend they never happened before, and keep on with my merry way. Well, I decided to look into them. I decided to experience what my experiences were and see, how can I be better? How can I be different? The man that stands before you today is not the same man that was there 11 years ago. I have looked into these experiences. I've turned things around. And in a weird way, our hero's journey is this repetitive cycle that happens over and over in our lives in smaller degrees. And this idea of cycling has played a massive part in my life as it has continued. 2 years after this car accident, I lose my license and I decide, let me start riding my bike to work every day. 10 miles each way, 5 days a week, 100 miles for about 3 months. I had to come up with some kind of relationship with this, right? So I went into work and I would joke with my boss back, I'm training for the Tour de France. I'm going to be out there. You just watch me. I'm going to get on my bike. We're going to go. We're going to keep going. That did not happen. However, I was training for something that I didn't even realize. In 2015, I moved across the country and started a new life from scratch with 30 years of wisdom out here in Colorado. And I started over fresh and I started to get into the cycling habit. To date, I have ridden over 12,000 miles on a bicycle. Started from one day going 10 miles and another day going another 10 miles till my biggest day that I've ridden 140 miles in one day. About 2 years ago, I started thinking, what else can I do? I taught myself how to ride a bicycle to a very high level, if I might add. I've climbed almost all the high peaks out here in Colorado. I've summited Pikes Peak. I've summited Mount Evans. I've ridden up Haleakala, the great volcano on Maui, sea level to 10,000 feet in 35 miles. And a few years ago, the seed was planted in my head by a friend that was professionally running triathlons. She said, I see an Ironman in your future. I said, those people are crazy. You do not see that in my view. I will never do that. That is crazy. It's impossible. Little did I know, a couple of years would pass, and I figured if I could teach myself how to ride a bike, let's teach myself how to swim and how to run as well. I still pretend I know how to do those, but I'm really just a biker. On August 7th, 2021, I did complete a half Ironman in Boulder, Colorado. Almost 10 years to the day after my car accident, I had found myself doing a half Ironman. And now I'm training for a full Ironman in 5.5 months in Lake Placid, New York. For those of you that don't know, that entails swimming 2.5 miles and then going to ride 112 miles on a bicycle and then go run a full marathon. No big deal, right? They say we're crazy. And I have to agree. I am crazy. I am crazy about extracting all of the value that I possibly can out of the second chance that I've been given in life. I am crazy about seeing what kind of legacy I can leave behind me because of the choices I'm making every single day. Now, how does a man travel from broken man to Iron Man? How do we travel along this path? And I already gave you the answer at the beginning. You stay open, you stay present, and you be honest. Now, when I say open, I mean be open to the situation. A lot of us have these expectations, these preconceived notions, these subconscious ideas in our mind that steer where we're going. But can you be here right now in this moment and not have an expectation of what you're supposed to receive from me and not have an expectation of what you're supposed to bring to a conversation, but simply be here and allow the opportunities that present themselves to be able to be interacted with? There's this special sweet spot between the past and the future. It's called the present. Myself, I experience much when it comes to anxiety and depression, but anxiety typically comes when you're thinking about something that hasn't ever happened yet, and it might not, who knows? And depression has much of its roots in the past. I can't change what's happened. I wish I could have made a better decision there. I wish I could have done this. But in the present, you can choose to leave both of those at the side. Maybe you will, and maybe you won't interact with any of those thoughts in real time, but that's not for you to decide. Being present is really more of the choice. And when I bring up honesty, I mean be honest with yourself. Because if you can't be honest with yourself, you can't be honest with anyone else. You can pull the sheep's wool over the person next to you. You can convince your neighbor of something. But when you lay down in that bed by yourself at night, what do you know in your heart? When you took a look in the mirror today, can you honestly say, I was a good version of me? I showed up the way I wanted to show up. I made the choices I wanted to make today. Can you say that? Now I want to check in with you as I've asked you to be vulnerable and you're pondering these questions. How do you feel? Were you good today? Now, how honest was that answer? Because it's not the answer that matters, it's how honest that answer was. We have plenty of preconceived notions about everything we see each and every day, but if we lay them to the side and we interact with what's actually happening before us, we have a massive chance at using these setbacks in our lives as setups for change in our future. And I come here to challenge you to make a choice that leads you to a better life. Make a choice today that makes one more step closer to your goal, and make the choice to say, yes, I will continue, I will endure, and I will thrive. I ask you today to move that needle just one tick towards transforming that man in the mirror into the man that you have seen in your dreams. Thank you.
Wow, wow, Patrick, you've mentioned that we should be honest with ourselves, because if we can't be honest with ourselves, it's going to be hard to be honest to anyone that you come across. And really, from sharing your experience, your personal experience, on how you overcame those setbacks, how you overcame those challenges in your life, really, it's mind-blowing. And oh my goodness, you're such an inspiration. You are a true definition of being an overcomer. Thank you. Thank you so much, Patrick, for sharing such a needed message. And I believe from all of these messages, our audience really will be inspired. They'll be motivated. They'll be ready to rise to greater heights. So thank you so much. So to our viewers online, please feel free. If you have any questions to any of the speakers today, please feel free to drop the questions in the chat box, and then we're going to attend to your questions at the end of the podcast. But, before we go any further, I'm going to be the next and final speaker. But you know what? As always, before I speak, let me see if I can get my bio before I speak, and then I'll come back and speak.
Non-Pumelelo Rial Kunene is a highly sought-after, energetic, certified Les Brown International speaker. She is the author and host to Rise to Greater Heights, a book and YouTube channel to turn your fears into greater success while seizing new opportunities. Rial is also a coach, mentor, and an MC, well known for encouraging many to rise from mediocrity into greatness. Her vision is not only to motivate, but also to empower audiences with a fresh perspective, inspiration they require to pursue success and drive sustainable outcomes in a seriously funny way. Rial believes that we are in full control of our choices. Her mission is to meet the needs and transform lives of her clients and her audience. Rial's book, Rise to Greater Heights, has inspired and empowered many to pursue their personal and professional passion to become go-getters. Her goal is to study your current situation, identify limiting beliefs, then design a plan of inspired action to empower you to achieve specific outcomes in your life. Rial Kunene wears many hats as a professional certified sales manager, CEO, strategist, certified travel counselor, trainer, esthetician, philanthropist, diplomacy protocol officer, international human rights analyst, and a commissioner for OAS. Following her dreams gave her purpose to see her goals through and understand that she does have everything she needs to reach her full potential. Her everyday message is that your journey to be a better person starts with you. So knowing who you are to your core will make you understand that you are the only one who can accomplish your dreams. Hebrews 11, Psalm 27 and 40. Keep her to rise to greater heights. Kings and queens, please join me. Welcome, Rial Kunene!
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much, amazing speakers. I am really not too sure if I'm going to be able to fill in your shoes, because you know what, you've just set the bar high. So I'm going to try with my baby steps in the right direction. But you know what, before I continue, I always double check. I just want to double check if I'm in the right platform here. How many of you with a raise of hand can say that, Rial, I have never, ever complained in life? Never ever complained in life. Seemingly I'm in the right platform, because you know, sometimes in life we go complaining about everything. Oh, the weather is really bad today. Traffic was worse than expected. My family drives me crazy sometimes. Oh, the movie was really disappointing. You name it. Though whining can be a way to build an inspiration, it can also keep us from acting, and it gives excuses time to procrastinate from achieving goals. You know, one thing I've realized is that we usually complain in the wake of a negative situation. We tend to focus more on the problem than finding potential solutions. It's always much easier to complain than to find a solution. And individuals who whine on a regular basis, they're apt to have a bad health. So next time you'll find you complaining that, Why do pizzas come in square boxes, yet they're round? And funny enough, they are cut in triangles. Does that sound like you? Yeah, please write this down, write this down. What's holding you back? What's holding you back from achieving your goals? What's holding you back from going confident in the direction of your dreams? Is it fear, mediocrity, procrastination, or distraction? What's holding you back? What kind of fears do you have as the year begins? Are you settling for a mediocre life? Are you being distracted by too many things in your life? Do you procrastinate a lot? What's holding you back? Kings and queens, it's so essential to assess your goals' progress. What's holding you back from living the amazing life that you envisioned like 10 years ago? What's holding you back? You know, setting and achieving big goals can be difficult. We all have dreams that we're hoping to achieve in our careers, but it feels like there is just something standing in our way. Doubting yourself can hold you back from living an amazing life. It's very easy to fear being judged and being worried about what other people think. In fact, it stops you from acting, making you afraid to even take the first step in your life. But Julian mentioned that in order to succeed in your dreams, you can't let others' opinions affect you. Good people, you really don't have to see the whole staircase in life, but you'll have to take the first step to get to the top. As my mentor always say, that you don't have to be great to get started, but you'll have to get started to become great in life. So get started today. Get started today. Stop letting your fears hold you back. You know, the only remedy that cures your fears is action. So go for your goals and succeed, because you can have the drive within you to become what you really want in life. Can you say it after me? I can have the drive within me to become what I really want in life. You know what? Say it one more time, like you have faith in your own powerful voice. I can have the drive within me to get what I really want in life. You know, it was Barack Obama who once said, the future rewards those who press on. I don't have time to feel sorry for myself. I don't have time to complain. I'm going to press on. And this message said something within me. You know, it's so funny how my mom and dad gave me this beautiful name, Nompumelelo. You know, Nompumelelo, I know many people butchered my name when they tried to say it, but it's okay. Nompumelelo, in my own language, it means mother of success. So now you can see that I am really challenged to chase after success. No matter what comes my way, I'll have to chase after success. Because the reality is your journey to become a better person starts with you. So knowing who you are to your core will make you understand that you have everything around you to accomplish your dreams. You have everything around you to reach to your full potential. Knowing who you are to your core, I keep on repeating this, it will make you understand that it's only you who will take yourself to your final line. You are the one who is in full control of your life. You know, as flight attendants always say that, put on your oxygen mask first before you assist others, because if you don't, you and the other person you're trying to help could possibly go down. So it's high time to put that oxygen mask first before you assist anyone around you. You know, if you have any dream, conduct yourself like you have faith in your own powerful voice. And guess what? It will echo throughout all the universe. Frank shared many options on how to create your own synergy. If there is anything humankind has learned about behaviors, is that who you are and will be is 100% down to you. Who you are and will become is 100% down to you. So never ever give up on your dreams. Never ever give up on your heart's desires. Treat every phase towards your visions as an achievement. This is about becoming more in harmony with your deeper self. Why? I'm glad you've asked that, because you cannot produce if you're not true to yourself. So good people, all these amazing speakers have shared some nuggets on what's holding you back. This is a wake-up call. But when that alarm clock goes off, please, don't ever hit the snooze button. Don't be like, I will wake up in the next 2 minutes. I will wake up in the next 4 minutes. You know what? Forever is a long time. Why don't you wake up, get going, and seek for a mentor or a coach who will align you with your goals, because you need a mentor to be aligned with your goals, really. You need someone who will hold you accountable for your actions. Honestly, my advice to anyone who is interested in mentorship and coaching is that being mentored is one of the most valuable and effective development opportunities you can ever get out there. We have mentors who have coaches today in this platform. Reach out to them at the end of the podcast. See how they can help you. See how they can align you with your goals. You know, all these amazing speakers, please reach out to them. It's going to be a transformation from today if you reach out to them. Julie, Frank, Patrick, reach out to them. If I may ask you, how many of you have dreams and goals that you want to achieve maybe in the next 6 months? I know myself, I am one of them. I want you, as you think about your dreams and goals, to put this down. Rise to greater heights. Rise to greater heights, because you need to be clear about your career goals in order for you to gain guidance on professional development. So as a coach or as a mentor, really my goal is so simple. My goal is to study your current situation, identify limiting beliefs and other potential obstacles that might be blocking you from achieving potential achievements in your life. And then, you know, I design a plan of inspired action to empower you to achieve specific outcomes in your life. As Patrick mentioned, from his own experience on how he overcame setbacks. He overcame those challenges. He overcame, like he's an overcomer. So I just wish that you can just tell yourself that, you know what, I'll have to go out there and be the change that I want to see in this world. The change that I want to see in this world must first begin with me. I'll have to make a difference within me, to those who look at me as an inspiration, to those who count on me. But in order for you to go out there and be the change and make a difference, you've got to be hungry. You've got to be hungry like the hungry lion in the jungle. That hungry lion in the jungle, really, it doesn't matter what kind of animal comes his way. It doesn't matter if you're that giant elephant or that small squirrel by the jungle. All that hungry lion sees in front of his face is lunch. And it's so funny because even with elephants, when they see a lion, what they do is that they run. It's all about the mindset. Once you believe, you become. They already told themselves that, you know what, I am a lunch to that lion. So when I see a lion, I'll have to run. So I believe we need that lion mindset in order for us to actually identify what's holding us back from achieving our goals. What's holding us back from living this amazing life that we envisioned. I've touched bases on fear, mediocre life, procrastination, as well as distraction. You know, it's so funny. When I was in the 8th grade, I was nicknamed Phoenix. I was nicknamed Phoenix after writing a composition using the idiomatic expression that says, I rose from the ashes like a phoenix bird, meaning I became successful again. Really, that English teacher, she didn't know that the nickname Phoenix, it resonates with me. And it also aligns with my destiny. So for those of you who don't know the phoenix bird, the phoenix is a Greek mythological bird believed to rise from its own ashes after being buried like hundreds of years ago. This immortal creature, it acquires new life by rising from the ashes of its own ancestor, which represents our capacity for vision and success. I want to encourage you, if you're listening under my voice today, that when your world comes crashing down, wear your scars and show how a phoenix feels like to die from inside, and trust in your own capability to rise from your own ashes. Since the phoenix has to die first, burn, experience pain before resurrection from its own ashes. Please write this down in conclusion. Resilience to greatness. Resilience to greatness. Patrick has already mentioned that your setback is your setup for your comeback. And you've heard this message over and over again. Your setback is your setup for your comeback. Honestly, if I can be honest with you, I don't know what dreams you have for your future. I don't know what goals you've set for the next 6 months. But here is one thing I know about you. You are destined for greatness. Inside of you, God has put seeds of excellence. Those seeds are supposed to grow and flourish. But many people have become crippled by their past encounters, and some have stepped over other people to get to the top. But I believe that God has a better plan for every one of us. Your objective is what you are designed for and the reason why you live today. With God, I believe that we are all destined for greatness as long as we follow his strategy. This is when the growth commences, because discovering your gifts and following God's idea will make you understand that you are the only one who can make your dreams come true today. My everyday inspiration, Mr. Les Brown, he once said, if you had to die today, at this very moment, at this hour, what dreams, what ideas, what visions, what goals, and what skills, and what books will die with you? And Dr. Miles Monroe continued saying that the richest place on this planet is the cemetery, because that's where all the dreams, all the goals, all the visions, all the talents, all the skills have been buried. Honestly, I don't know about you, but with me listening to these messages, it gave me sleepless nights. And I am really proud today to introduce Rise to Greater Heights book, which is a comprehensive guide to turn your fears into greater success while seizing new opportunities. And you know, I didn't stop there. With the death of George Floyd, I believe that we were supposed to stand for a world where no one shall live in fear because of the color of their skin, and where the criminal justice system treats everyone fairly and equally, because I believe that everyone is born free and everyone has the right to life. So I decided to write human rights, which are all God-given fundamental rights and freedoms. No one can just dictate these rights to you. You were born with the Universal Declaration of Human Rights that can never, ever be taken away from you. So I decided to write that book, and we didn't stop there. We came together in Resilience to Greatness. It was 15 different authors under the training of Les Brown. We came together under one vision, Resilience to Greatness. And we came together again, authors around the world, cultivate your mindset for success. So I believe with these books, they have the potential to completely revolutionize every aspect of your life and career. And I also have a free transformation guide for you. It's available on my website, www.risetogreaterheights.com. With this free transformation guide, you'll be able to explore leadership, empowerment, being purpose-driven, mentorship, coaching, resilience to greatness, mental health, emotional intelligence, and many, many more topics, including spiritual growth and successful parenting. Because, you know, growing up, I didn't have much in life because my father decided to have an early departure from this planet Earth. And thank God I missed that flight, but I had everything because of my mama's love. And I love you so much, Mom. So I think whosoever said that the sky is the limit was wrong. From today on, I, Nompumelelo, Riel, Kunene, believe that the sky is our point of view. So let's all rise to greater heights. Thank you so much, amazing speakers. Thank you. We are at the end of the podcast. So at this moment, please feel free to share your final thoughts on the title, Rise, What's Holding You Back, with our audience online. And then if you also forgot how our audience can reach out to you, please feel free to share how they can reach out to you. And if you have any freebie for them, feel free to share your freebie, your complimentary, and then we will check if we have any questions for from our audience, and then we will respond to those questions. So any speaker can really jump in. I can see any speaker can just jump in right now.
Well, I loved what you said about the only remedy to fear is action. So I think we've all compelled you to take some action today. I hope you will, because you deserve to be out there and do what you're meant to do. And if you don't know what that is, that's okay. You can find your passion, you know, find out what makes you shine, find out what makes time go by quickly for you. But the world now is going to need you more than ever with everything that's going on. We need every person out there to help, to serve, to sparkle, and to inspire. And we had some really inspiring presentations today. So I hope you got a lot out of today. You can reach me on LinkedIn. My full name is Julianne Cooley, and I'll put that in the chat for you in a moment.
I'm so honored to have the opportunity to be a part of this panel with Julie, Patrick. I love the way you came out, man. You rocked that presentation, went dark, came back on us, jacket up, and just did a great job, man. That was really off the chain. So I just want to tell people, passion, the Latin word is passio, Passio, which ironically means suffering. The movie by Mel Gibson, The Passion of the Christ, that's why it was called that, because it's a word that means suffering. So we use the word passion kind of cavalier in society, but if you know when you've hit your passion, when you're willing to suffer for it, something that you would die for, something that you would give your all for, something that you would do whatever it takes to unwrap and perform in your life as you've created passion. So I hope that listening to us today, and Rial, thank you for allowing me to come. Listening to us today, it helps to fuel to more of your real passion in your life, not the pseudo passion that maybe you think you've reached but haven't really embraced or grasped yet. Just continue to do that. I'm Frank Sinclair. You can reach me on any social media platform. With Rial's permission, I would invite you to join our Be Encouraged community. It has nearly 51,000 people in 115 countries in every state in the union involved. You can't sell anything, you can't buy anything, you can't promote anything on that platform. Only thing that you can do is encourage other human beings. So join the Be Encouraged community. Reach out to me if there's something that I say that resonates with you, that you would just like to further conversation with. DreamAgainLLC.com, and go to Amazon for any of my books or materials.
I also want to echo you, Frank. I just want to say thank you for joining, both of you, fabulous human beings, and Real, you as well. It's just awesome to be around other people that are really pushing the boundaries and see how much alignment there really is between people that are trying to improve themselves and improve the environments that are around them by changing themselves first, just like you had touched on, Real. So I just want to say thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for sharing some of your thoughts and wisdom. My email, send me an email, pinfante@gmail.com. And you can find me on any of the socials. The Patrick Perspective is kind of how I see the world. So come and find me, come and join me, and let's have a conversation. Thank you.
Oh, wow, amazing speakers. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom. Really, I've learned a lot. I'm going to go back and watch the replay over and over again and take notes. Take notes. I am forever a student. So thank you so much for sparing the 90 minutes with us here at Rise to Greater Heights Network, really. And to our audience online, I can see Kathy is with us here. Elizabeth is with us. Mariah, watching from the sunny Vancouver, Canada. Welcome, Mariah. Welcome, Nunu. Welcome, Princess. Welcome, Tela. Welcome, Yankosi, Lindy, Wayinka, and Tola. Greg, welcome. Thank you so much to our audience online. I hope from all this motivation that we got today here at Rise to Greater Heights, you've been really inspired and motivated, and you are ready to rise to greater heights. So please do join us next week at the same time, same place. And don't forget to share this message, because you may never know you're going to be saving thousands and thousands of people with just this message that has been shared today. So go out there, go on YouTube, subscribe to our channel, click the notification button so that you always don't miss any live with us. So thank you so much for joining us today. Merci, siyabonga. Do join us next week at the same time, same place. Thank you.
Let them laugh, let them weep, let them yell, let them sing. All they wanna say. Let them lay me traps and men to pray to Jehovah, me I pray. Let them laugh, let them weep, let them yell, let them sing. All they wanna say. Let them lay me traps and men to pray to Jehovah, me I pray. Let I be me instead of playing games. For chasing fame, let somebody sweat the lack of flames. No, living my life to the fullest and shout out my halala to the fullest. Let my lungs out. I'm still rising up to greater heights as long as I'm